Now my time to spend my money. Been the suffer time to jolly. Oh no, cause if I no get a worry, I can see the bars ready to spend. Oh.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you guys how I recreated this blouse for an outstate client. The intro video is her trying out the dress for the first time and everything sat well, except for the shoulders of the blouse and the skirt, which were a little loose because she lost some weight, so I worked on that. The final look of the dress I'll be sharing in a short video, so if you're interested to see how I achieved my result, then keep watching. I have here the basic bodice pattern for an extra large size, and I've traced it out on another paper. We'll be contouring these bodies to remove excess. I'll go ahead and label it and as well mark my underbust level. I have labeled it and have also marked the underbust level. Now I'm going to mark in a circle from the bust point, the bust radius. The bust radius I'm working with is 4 inches. I'll take that round in a circle. I will eyeball the center of the neckline and I'll draw a line from the bust point to that point, and this line becomes my contour guideline. I'll draw the same contour guideline from the bust point to the curved part of the armhole. On the point where the line touches the circle, I will go out towards the center front by ½ an inch. Then on the side of the armhole, I will mark 0.25 inch on the point where the line touches the circle as well. I will connect these points from the bust point to the point on the circle and to the point on the neckline, and on the armhole side, I will connect from the bust point to the point on the circle and straight to the armhole. I will slash open the waist dart, the two contour guidelines, closing the excess and tape it down. All this excess when closed will go to the waist dart, that's why it is slashed open. The neck depth I'm working with is 10 inches, and to properly get that measurement, I place my tape from the bust point. My bust point level is 12 inches and I place my tape from there and take my neck depth measurement of 10 inches. From the shoulder, I came down by 2.5 inches, and with these 2 points, I will draw in my sweetheart neckline. To get that bustier that line, I will place half of my bust span up here to enable me extend the dart line upwards. On this dart line of the neckline, I'm going to take ½ an inch on both sides. I'm taking ½ an inch because I've already removed the excess through contouring. I've also taped in another paper to cover the dart we slashed open. I'll find the midpoint of this dart and redraw the center dart line. From the bust point, I will go up by 1 inch and I'll come down by 1 inch as well. On the dart of the chest line, I will take ½ inch on both sides. The underbust circumference I'm working with is 10.125 inch. I will measure what I have here. I'm not including the dart. I have 11.25 inches. I will minus the 10.125 that I got from it, and I'm left with 1.125 inches. I will divide it into 2, and that gives me 0.6. So I'm going to place on both sides of the dart 0.6. So I'm placing 0.6 inch on each side of the dart leg, and please, I'm placing this on the circle. I'll go ahead and connect all these points. The front chest measurement I'm working with is 15 inches and half of that is 7.5 inches. and here I have 6.25 inches. Please, the dots are not included in my measurement. I've also taped in some fresh paper to accommodate my measurement. So guys, I'm remarking the front chest line to enable us place our measurements correctly. On this line, I'll place half of my front chest measurement of 7.5 inches, but I'll place 7 inches instead and connect it back to the neckline curve. Then at the armhole, I will come down by half an inch and draw in the new armhole curve and cancel out the old one. I'll close in the side bust dart. You can withdraw your dart legs to the bust point and close, but I'll not be doing that because I want more room for the bust. So I'll close it like so and slash open the waist dart. I will also close the dart on the neckline and redraw the neckline curve. This is all for the front bodice. I will go ahead and smoothen out any sharp corners and cut out the pattern. So guys, this is what the front bodice is looking like. I have cut it out. We'll move on to the back bodice. From the bust or armhole level, I went up by 3 inches and squared it out. On the front pattern, we came down by 2.5 inches from the shoulder slope point, and with that point we drew in the sweetheart neckline. Now I'm going to measure the distance from that 2.5 inches point to the front chest level. So I'm putting this pattern together so that you can understand what I am explaining. So guys, I've arranged the pattern back and this is the front chest level. Now I'm going to measure the distance from that front chest level to the point where we came down at 2.5 inches from the shoulder slope point. And here I have 1.25 inches. On the back pattern, from the back chest level, I will go up by 1.25 inches. I will connect it to the 3 inches point I came up at the center back and draw in my back neckline. On the bust or armhole level, I will come down by half an inch just like I did on the front bodies. Then I will replace my half of my bust span on the new back neckline and redraw the back dart. On the back chest level, I will place half of my back chest measurement minus half an inch, and with this point I will draw in my back armhole curve. So guys, this was all I did for the back bodies. For the peplum, I already have a detailed tutorial on my channel on how I cut and added the crinoline, but I'll just brush through on how I cut the peplum in this video, but I'll leave the link to that video in the description. I folded my fabric into 4, and from this folded side we'll be taking our measurement. The original waist circumference I'm working with is 42 inches, but I added extra 5 inches to it to have more room to pleat the peplum, and this gave me 47 inches. I divided this 47 inches by 6.28 and I got a radius of 7.5 inches. Then the total length of fabric I folded is 18 inches, and the width of my peplum is 8 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance. I'll take this 18 inches round in a semicircle and as well mark the radius. I increased the radius from 7.5 inches to 9 inches, and that's what you saw me mark, and this will give more room to pleat in the peplum. So that's our peplum there. On how to sew and attach the crinoline, I'll leave the link to that tutorial in the description. So guys, these are all the pieces I'll be needing for this blouse. This is the back bodice. I've interfaced the neck area. I've also cut out the lining. The front bodies I've interfaced with a wording, and I've also cut out their lining as well. I have also the 2 peplums with their lining, then the zipper and the crinoline. I'm going to start by joining the panels of the front bodies and their corresponding lining. I'll go ahead and pin it in place, making sure all my notches matches, and I'll be sewing at 0.5 inch seam allowance. I will also sew up the darts on the back panel and their lining and give them a good press. I've attached the panels of the front bodies and the back bodies with their corresponding lining, and I've given them a good press. I'll go ahead and attach the front and back bodies together, and I'll do the same with their lining. So guys, I've joined the front and back panels of the bodies and their lining as well. I'm going to turn the bodies with the lining, and I've placed the right side of the lining to the right side of the bodies. I'll go ahead and attach them first at the neckline. Whenever I'm sewing curvy necklines, V or squares, I like to mark out the seam allowance around the neckline, as it helps me get the real shape and give the neckline that creepsiness. I just wanted to share that, so I'll go ahead and attach this with a straight stitch. So guys, I've attached the bodies to the lining around the neckline. Now I'm going to notch around the curved areas of the neckline to release any tension, and I'll top stitch the seam allowance on the lining. So guys, I'm done top stitching the seam allowance on the lining. The reason for this top stitch of the seam allowance on the lining is to help keep the lining inside. So now I'm going to attach the lining to the back bodies at the zip allowance side. So I'm facing the right side of the lining to the right side of the back bodies, and I'll be sewing at 0.25 inch seam allowance. The seam allowance of our zipper extension is 1 inch, so I'll be left with 0.75 inch to attach my zipper. I've attached the lining to the back bodies and I've turned it to the right side. I'll take this to my ironing table and give it a good press. So guys, I've given these bodies a good press, and you can see that our bodies has taken shape. I've also stitched around the armhole to secure the lining to the bodies and at the hem of the bodies as well. Next, we are going to work on attaching the flounce. To attach the flounce to this blouse, we are going to measure the area where we'll be attaching the flounce, and from the style of this dress, from the center front of the blouse, I'm going to go out by 1 inch, and from that point I'm just going to take my tape all the way up around the neck area like you see me doing, and I will extend it up to the sleeve of this blouse, and for this I have 27 inches. I have folded my fabric to 3 times the width of the flounce because of how the Ankara is patterned. The width of the flounce is 4 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance, making it 5 inches. So triple of that is 15, and I added extra 1 inch, making it 16 inches. Now the width of fabric folded is 33 inches and it's folded into two because I'm cutting together with the lining. I'll go ahead and mark a 90-degree angle on the fabric, and the width of each side of this 90-degree angle will measure 16 inches. So guys, I've drawn the 90-degree angle, and as you can see, the width of each side of this angle measured 16 inches. You can as well fold your fabric into 4 and iron it to have this crease of 90-degree angle. The reason I tripled my measurement is for me to be able to get more of the patterned part of this Ankara and less of the plain part. So I'm going to start my measurement with the width of my flounce. From the center point on each side of this angle, I'm going to mark 5 inches. From the center point, I'm going to draw a curve and connect all the 5 points till I arrive on the line where I started the curve from. Once I get to this line where the curve started, I'm going to place my tape at the point of that curve and continue measuring my 5 inches. I'll continue the marking following the curve till I get my required measurement. So guys, I think I am okay with this. At the end of the flounce, I've connected it back into the line, and in the center where I started the curve, I just connected it back into one of the curves. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. So guys, this is the flounce and it's quite long due to how the Ankara is patterned. You can see that I used the plain side of the Ankara to sew the bodice. So I'm going to cut off that plain part in the flounce and join it together so that we can have only the patterned side for the flounce. This will not be your case if you are working with a more uniform patterned Ankara. All you have to do is to measure the area where you'll be attaching the flounce and use the measurement to cut out your flounce. So guys, I've cut out the 2 flounce I'll be using for this blouse with their lining and interface them. The width of the pink flounce is 6 inches plus 1 inch seam allowance, making it 7 inches. I've also cut off the plain part of the flounce on the Ankara and joined it back. I tried my possible best to join it in a way it will not be visible. The tutorial on how I added the crinoline to this flounce is already on the channel. I will leave the link in the description. These are the 2 flounce we'll be needing for this blouse, all prepared. The main bodice of the blouse and the 2 peplums all prepared. So with the flounce and peplums ready, we'll go ahead and assemble the blouse. But before we attach the flounce and peplum, we'll attach the sleeves first. I'll be using these 2 pieces for the sleeves, and these strips will be used to pipe round the armhole after the sleeves has been attached. So guys, I've prepared one of the sleeves and attached with pins. We'll go ahead and prepare the second one. The length of the fabric for the sleeve is 7.5 inches on fold. When opened is 15 inches. The width measured 14 inches. I'll go ahead and stitch close, and I'm sewing on the wrong side of the fabric and at 0.5 inch seam allowance. This is the first sleeve that I've prepared. I will use it to shape the second one. This sleeve has an elastic around the arm. Initially, I wanted to pleat in the sides that will be attached to the bodice. That's why I centered the joining in the middle. But I later changed my mind and decided to curve it in instead. So I'll go ahead and do the same with the second sleeve and stitch close that curved area. Next, we are going to sew the channels for the elastic and insert the elastic on both sleeves. I came down by 1 inch from the top of the sleeve to sew the channel for the elastic. The width of the channel of the elastic is 1 inch. The width of my elastic is 0.75 inch and the length of my elastic is 8.5 inches. So guys, the sleeves are ready. For my inspiration photo, the flounce is attached from the left side of the sleeve. So I'm going to attach the right side of the sleeve first, then we'll work on attaching the left side of the sleeve with the flounce. I've attached the sleeve to the right side of the blouse and left the left side pinned. Before we attach the flounce, I'm going to gather the peplums and the flounce to their respective circumferences. Attach the two flounce together and the two peplums together, and I'll be doing this off camera. So guys, I've attached the peplums and the flounce together. Now we'll be attaching these to the bodice. From the center front of the blouse, I'm going to go out by 1 inch and go all the way up following the direction of the scissors. The distance from the neckline to the peplum is 1 inch to make room for the flowers. Then I'll take it all over to the sleeve and secure it in between the sleeve and the bodice. So guys, I've pinned the flounce in place and have secured it in between the sleeve and the bodice. This remaining piece of the flounce, I will trim it off and I'll use this piece of fabric to pipe round the raw edges of the sleeve. I thought I should show you guys this part before I go ahead and top stitch my flounce. First, you're going to stitch close the back side of the sleeve where you trimmed off the remaining flounce extension. Then you're going to pipe round the rough edges of the armhole first before you go ahead and top stitch your flounce. I also want to mention that I trimmed off the seam allowance around the armhole. I'll take this to my machine and do all that I just said, then I'll top stitch my flounce. I'll be running 2 top stitches on the flounce to secure it to the blouse. I have secured the flounce to the bodice with double straight stitch. I have also piped round the raw edges of the sleeve. Now we are going to attach the peplum to the bodice. So guys, I've attached the peplum to the blouse. This blouse is almost ready. Please do not mind my rice and beans lining. I had the color of the Ankara in mind when I started. Anyway, I've also pinned in place my detachable zipper. I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and attach with a straight stitch, and as well overlock the raw edges on the waistline. So guys, I've done all that I said. I've attached my detachable zipper. I will advise you hand tag this first to ensure that the waistline matches at the zipper before attaching with your sewing machine. The only thing remaining now is to attach the flowers. The flowers I have here were really small. I didn't look at the size when I was ordering, so I have placed another order which I have not received yet. But this is how you're going to place the flowers along the flounce and tack it down with your needle and thread. Then to tighten up the shoulder, I came in by 1 inch on the bodice on both sides. Then I reduced the width of the sleeve by 1 inch. So guys, that was all I did for the blouse. I also made a 6-piece skirt for this blouse. I have a tutorial on my channel on how to draft and sew a 6-piece skirt. The link will be in the description. Like I earlier mentioned, I'll be showing the final look of this blouse in a short video when I have received the flowers or petals for the blouse. Do not forget to like and share the video. Leave all your questions and suggestions in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel and be the first to get notified when I upload a new video. And until my next one, a bientôt!